In today's video, we are going to be looking at one of the smallest properties in the entire Washington, D.C. area. This single family house is 1 bedroom, 1 bath, 560 square feet. It was originally listed at $500,000 and it comes on a 0.13 acre lot. As far as the location of this lot, you're about halfway between Old Town Alexandria and Annandale, Virginia, and just 15 or 20 minutes away from downtown DC. You also have easy access to 395 and the Beltway. And a little bit more about the area. So you're right next to Annandale, Virginia, which is a residential community in Fairfax County. And what's great about Annandale is that there's actually tons of amazing restaurants, highly underrated restaurants there. And not only that, but it's a much more residential feel once you get outside of the main strip. So it almost feels like you're miles and miles away from the city when actually you're only about 15 or so minutes. People move to Annandale, Virginia because it's a little bit more affordable than Arlington or parts of Alexandria, and you can get a much bigger house while still having great schools and easy access to the city. And the other big neighborhood that you're relatively close to is Old Town Alexandria, which if you're ever in Virginia, be sure to do a day trip in Old Town Alexandria. There's an amazing waterfront, there's historic houses, it's much more urban than Annandale, but you're gonna get a very cool, walkable neighborhood with lots of stuff going on, lots of restaurants, lots of bars, lots of people watching. There's plenty of things to do down there. So let's go take a tour of the house.
All right, so here's the house from the outside. It's got a massive yard, and I'll show you a picture of the houses next door. It's a very developing type of neighborhood. You got these monster houses just popping up everywhere. So a lot of potential here. This one actually just sold recently, and I don't think it's a teardown. I think someone's gonna just fix it up. You can see that deck is kind of rotting away. But not a bad street, very transitional, but you're close to a lot of things. So let's go check out the house and tell me what you think about it, and let me know if you could live in a house like this or if you would tear it down or what you would do. And actually, before we go in, so I knocked on the doors a few times and they were actually unlocked. There was no lockbox or anything, so both the front and back doors were unlocked, so might be a surprise what we find in here. Hopefully not too big of a surprise though. Here we go. So the siding just really needs to be cleaned up. I think you could keep that. I think the roof is in pretty bad shape. You got some rotting right here. Hello? Oh, kind of smells like cigarettes in here. So you got a tiny house that a smoker used to live in. This would be the living room. And they actually updated some of the windows, so these are not original windows. That's a big expense. The windows are about, $300 or $400 a pop. There's the neighbor's yard, so your house is right up along the property line. So here's the first and really only bedroom. It's a pretty good size. It looks like they probably this used to just be like a living room, and then they kind of just put a wall right there. Got a couple closets. Floors have actually been updated. So these floors aren't bad. It's some type of laminate, faux wood type of floor, but usually these are pretty durable. And to get an idea of how much the floors would cost to replace them if you wanted to do that, for this house, I don't think I would because it's a smaller house and the floors have actually been updated, but I like to use a store called Floor & Decor. I look at the luxury vinyl plank and tile. That's very popular right now, and it looks great, it's affordable, and it's also very durable if you're doing some type of rental property or Airbnb, something like that. So you would just click on any number of them, and then you can see this one. It looks really nice, very modern, very clean look. And then I'll just put in 400 square feet as a rough approximation. Comes out to $1,249. And then you're probably gonna wanna about double that number to include the cost of labor and some additional materials needed for the flooring, like the underlay and everything like that. So something interesting about this property, they're actually marketing it as a house. So maybe someone would live here and rent it out as like an Airbnb. Maybe someone would just live here. But they said they're doing updates to this property. So I didn't get that far with the agent as to what updates they're doing, but I'd be interested to find out. Definitely let me know what updates you would do. All right, so here is the kitchen. Not too bad. I mean, I would consider this in, rentable condition. There's a lot of spider webs everywhere, but you clean it up a little bit. Maybe you put a backsplash right there, do some GFCI outlets. So here's the bathroom, and this is a 1 bedroom, 1 bath house, and you got laundry in here, got the vanity. Everything's a little bit outdated, but I would still say it's definitely livable. Trust me, I've seen houses way worse than this that people rent out or live in. So this is actually not too bad. It's a little small, obviously. So let's go check out the rest of the house and the exterior as well. So this electrical panel, that thing just looks messed up. I'm not sure any other way to say it. You would just likely need to replace that. The HVAC, it's a Carrier system, which is good, but it also does not look like amazing. So here's the side of the house, and you can see the siding's a little bit beat up. The AC unit doesn't look bad, but definitely not brand new. Got this massive tree right here. This thing could like... Now, as far as removing trees from a property, obviously you try to keep trees if you can, but if they're too close to the property or they're hazardous, you might need to cut back some branches or actually remove the tree. So I like to use a website called Angie, formerly known as Angie's List, and you basically would just type in your address and then type in the type of work that you would need done. And then it's going to give you a vetted list of contractors with reviews that are typically licensed. And you can get an idea of the prices for tree removal or any type of work just by looking at the recent reviews. Now, tree removal is usually going to be a minimum of $1,000. And once you click on reviews, you can go down here and kind of see the cost and what type of work they did. This was $2,000. Sometimes they don't leave the full cost. This was $5,000. So it's going to range just depending on how many trees there are, size of the tree, stuff like that. Let me know if you would get rid of this tree or if you would keep it. I like this really long driveway that you could fit about 10 cars. The neighbor has about 10 cars in their driveway. Got this nice gravel. And what will we find in here? Should I see what's under there? Whoa. Oh my gosh. Too many spiders. That was the crawl space, in case you weren't aware. And a lot of times a home inspector is gonna have to actually go in there and investigate and see what's going on in there. So that's one job I don't know if I'd be able to do. Home inspector, they gotta, if you're claustrophobic or you don't like insects, home inspection is not the right career for you.
You can see how narrow the opening is, so hope you're not claustrophobic. Oh, going in here. This one has a dirt floor.
Here's the back of the house. Should I open the fridge? It's working, so that's a plus. So I'm gonna tell you my opinion on the house. And one thing actually I don't like is these wires right here. You can almost just grab these wires. So I guess there's not much you can do about it. Probably have to talk to the county. So overall, my thought on this house, I think it's priced fairly well. It was actually priced almost at $500K basically, which is pretty high for a 1-bedroom, 1-bath house. But I think what somebody could do is probably do some minor renovations, rent it out or live here for a little bit and then rent it out, and then eventually do some type of massive renovations or even new construction like many of the houses in this neighborhood. I think if you held on to this house for 4, 5, 10 years, the values are gonna keep going up. You're in a great location. You have a massive lot. And if you just drive around this neighborhood, there's just so much transition happening. So this is by far, one of the lowest priced properties. So I think there's definitely a lot of potential here, but let me know what you think in the comment section below and watch this video right here, and I'll see you on the next one.